right. Okay. Hey guys, how you doing? Trust you're good. All right. This is a recording to explain what my plans are or is regarding to the. So this is a recording to explain what my thought or my plan is regarding to the gift two of the SQL study group. My name is Timothy. You could call me Coach Timothy, and let's begin. Now, this gift two is going to be very special because I have been cooking something interesting for us. Now, I want to achieve something with this gift two, so you want to follow me. All right. You all are familiar with the environment, SQL Workbench or Microsoft Server or Postgres SQL or any other platform that you use, which is great. Now, I want to move us to an online platform which is SQLite. So I'm just going to Google it, SQLite. Now, I don't need you to pay attention to the first page, which is the SQL homepage. I actually want you to pay attention to the online version of the SQLite, which is SQL Online. So let's launch it. Now, this is an online place to practice SQL. Now, I have not practiced this on my phone, but if you have a phone and you feel like you're struggling with a system, this site, okay, all right, fine. If you have a phone and you feel like you're struggling with a system that you can use to practice your SQL, well, this is practically everything that you need to run an SQL online. So if you're trying to do an installation and you're struggling, or you're trying to, the installation configuration is maybe complex, and you feel like, what do I do? Well, this is where you could start, sqlonline.com. Now, the way I have designed this gift too, some of you might find it interesting, some of you might find it stressful, like, whoa, Timothy, where are you coming from with all this? Well, I'm coming for you with all this. Anyways, like a friend will say, let's talk about the gift two. Now, in the gift two, your journey starts from GitHub. Sorry, your journey starts from Cargo. And that's the reason why I did a poll in the community to know how familiar we are with Cargo. Well, probably you don't need to really do much. Once you've created an account, you've logged in or you've signed up, you should be able to see your profile header at the top here, and you should be able to come to this site. All right, that's this site. So I'm going to put the site on the Google Classroom so you can easily get here. Once you come here, this is an SQLite file. So it means that you're going to be working with a already designed and built database. That's exactly what you're going to be working with. A database that has been built. So you're not going to be working with Excel file or you know CSV file. Nah. This gift is crazy. You won't need that. What you're going to be working with is a database file. So you come down this website and you will learn that this is the file .sqlite, right? .sqlite. Now, inside this SQLite are the following tables: category, customer demo, customer demography, customers, employee terrains, employees, order details, and all that. So you would find all of all this information, which is great. They're great. They're actually great. What I need you to do is to download this file. Once you download it, you're gonna have it looking like this. Let me show you. So once you download it, you're gonna have it looking like this. Yeah, it's gonna look like this. Data sets dot SQLite. Now I renamed it data set when I was downloading it, okay? And I defined the location on my PC, which is gift two, where I want it to be saved to. So you're gonna find the file SQLite You can name it dataset, but just pay attention to the extension, which is SQLite. All right. Now, once you have that file downloaded, then you've successfully unlocked phase one. Actually, that's phase two because phase one is to get to cargo, phase two is to download the database, phase three now is to get to SQL online, SQLiteonline.com, because this is where you're going to be doing your cooking. Now, once you come to this space, what you're going to do is you're going to load this database into the environment. Now, I know you might feel like, wow, this environment looks complex. A lot is going on. Well, I'm leaving you to explore the environment. Explore it. Take your time. Observe where is which and which is where. There's the syntax that keeps track of the history and the query that you write. On the other side, there is the database itself, which is you're working with a private database, right? And if you break down the private database, you will notice that this environment, this application can choose what database you want to work with, whether you want to work with Maria database or Postgres or Microsoft SQL. So that's the beauty of this environment. It allows you to choose what database you wish to work with. So I would just say leave it on default. Don't switch to any database. All right. Now down here you have the SQLite itself. So this is the SQLite. All right, and then you have other databases. Other database environments, Doc database, PGLite, and the rest of them. All right. So when you run your code, this is the output of your table. Right now, there are some data in this SQLite, which is the demo data. So if I try to know what is in the demo data, I can run the query I see here, which is select all from, let's see, it says from customer. So it means if I click the drop down of this guy, I should see a column called customers. Well, it seems to be that there is no column called customers. Right, let's try to run it and see. So we have an error, meaning there is no column called customer, like I said. The only thing we have here is the name of the table called demo. So it means we have to change this customer to demo. Once we have changed it to demo, we can now run it and we don't have that error anymore, right? So it means that this runs, all right? This runs. Okay, now there's no data in this table, so don't worry yourself. What you're going to do now is that file that you downloaded from Cargo, yeah, Cargo, you're going to import it into this environment. So this is where you're going to be writing your query. Let's do this. So if you go to SQLite, you're going to see a folder here saying Open Database, Open DB. I'll click on it and it's going to try to read that file on my system, which is the dataset.sqlite, and then I'm going to click on Open. What's going to happen is that data will be loaded. Now, automatically that database has been loaded into my SQLite. So now I have SQLite. Now it gives me a list of all the tables, just like how your typical MySQL Workbench is going to give you a list of the tables, right? Just like all this now, these are tables: accurate, checkup table, express, Amazon, climate store data, college, cookie, daily collection, family, gift store, Jumia, blah, 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 blah. All of these are tables. So that's exactly what this guy is doing. So it's giving you a list of tables. And if you scroll down, you see that there are quite a lot of tables, right? Category, customer demo, customer demography. Exactly what we saw right here. Here. Is it here? No, it's here. Exactly what we saw right here earlier, right? Exactly what we can see right here. So once you've loaded this data into your tables, once you've loaded this data into this environment and you can see all your tables, if you scroll down, you're going to find views, right? View is going to come in as we continue in our lessons. I'm going to create, there's a lesson I have prepared for us that talks about view. So you want to sit back and relax. Looking forward to that. So right now, I'm not going to really talk about it, although I'm tempted to talk about views. But if you go to your MySQL or other environments that you're using. Let's say, for example, I'm looking at the database Sakila. Now, in the Sakila database, if you come down here, you will find views. Now, if I expand this view, I'm going to see different views under this Sakila database. These views are being created, all right? there is an SQL command for creating view. All right, and then the table for the circular. So we have, that means inside the table, sorry, inside the database we have tables, and the tables have what? Views. All right, so let's go back to that guy. So this database that we imported now, it has what? Tables, and inside these tables have what? Views. Does that make any sense to you? All right, let's now check this data. Let's run, let's try to see the first five customers. So I'm going to say select a start from. I'm going to use the I'm going to use the table. So I'm just going to put employee. Now, the moment I write employee, this guy can read the database. So he's suggesting that these are the things I have the inbuilt, or the things I can read that are employee related. So I'm just going to click on this employee because that's the table. And I'll limit this to five. All right. You can literally write this yourself. All right. Now, when I run it, what happened? It gives me a list of the first five customers. So if I try to expand this, I can see the customer ID and the rest of it. Now, what you're supposed to do regarding to your gift is every table you run, I will need you to export it. Okay. So every table you run and you get a table, export it. Now, to export this table, I'm going to come down to this icon here, right here. All right. And click on it. Okay. It's gonna say, do you want to export as an Excel file or a CSV? So I'll need you to export it as a Excel file. Yeah. And then click on OK. The file is going to be exported. It start exporting file. All right. Now this is the file. It's already telling you that the file is this file is exporting as a Microsoft Excel file. Right. So I'm going to create a table. In my first question on your gifts, if you're going to create a folder on your system called question one. In that question one, you're going to upload that data. So I'm going to call this list of first five employees. All right. So the data has been uploaded. I mean, the data has been downloaded, and there we go. So if I try to open my Microsoft Excel, that's the file I have downloaded. I should be able to see the file. The file should come up any moment from now. Five, four, three, two, one, five. We found the problem. So blah 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 blah. Come on, trust. All right, so let's see the file come up. The file should be up. Perfect. So this is the file, right? Okay, this is the file. Now that I have the file, this is the file that I am going to upload as a solution in my Google Classroom. You know how to upload your solution to your Google Classroom, right? Very good. So this is the file you're going to upload in your Google Classroom. This SQL file, not this file that I'm open to, like the file as an Excel file. All right. Meaning, when I go through your submission, I want to see a file for every export. That's the phase one. All right. Now, in the phase two, now, before then, when you create this export, this is what I also want you to do. I need you to also visualize your results. Oh, you guys don't know what I'm coming for you for. All right. So, um, perfect. So when you do this, let me do what I just did again. When you get the table and it exports in Excel, I need you to use quick analysis in Excel. Quick analysis works like this. I will click on a cell and do Control A. My entire data is selected. All right. And then you see a tiny icon by the edge. Click on it. All right. And then it's going to give you like this. Just click on charts. All right. And use any of the charts here to visualize your results. So let's try to look at the first one. All right. The first one looks like this. So it gives me a table, and this is sum of employee by title. So those employees that I exported their data, it creates a visualization for them. So it means that you're not the one that is going to be the one to do this manually. You just have to use the quick analysis to do it. Now, if I do that again and I choose the second one, All right, so I choose the first one. The first one gives me sum of employee ID by courtesy, by title of courtesy, meaning we have the Mr., the Mrs., the doctors, the Mr., the Mrs., the Miss, and the doctors. All right. So this is one, two, three, four. So it just summarizes them. So this is what this visual is what you would also send as a result of your question one. So every question that you answer, I want to see the data and I want to see a visualization of that data. You can choose to run the first or the second. You can choose to run the first or the second. But I want to see you have visuals that represent a sample of that data that you exported. Does that make any sense? It should make sense, so because you're allowed to watch this video over and over and over again. All right, you're allowed to watch the video over and over and over and over and over and over again. All right. So, with that being said, that's it. So, you export the data as an Excel file. Now, this is the idea. When you export your data as your Excel file, your SQL sheet is going to have the query that you've written. It's going to keep track of the query that you've written. Yep, it's going to keep track of the query that you've written. Your second sheet, another sheet in your data is going to contain the table that you exported. Then I also want to now see, okay, let's say two sheets. So I want to see V's one, that's visualization one. That means I need to create two visuals out of the data that you export. All right, using quick analysis. So I want to see V's one and I want to see V's two. All right, let me call this V's two. This is why you have to start the assignment early. Because if you don't start the assignment early, guess what? You cannot do this in a deadline. Like you can't do this when you're 30 minutes to the closing. You cannot. I can promise you that you cannot. All right. So once you've done that, if you try to save the work, all right, and that's the Excel file that you're going to upload inside your your submission for your GitHub. I mean for your Google Classroom. Okay, the submission for your Google Classroom. So these are the tables you're going to be working with. All right. So pay attention to the documents that I'm going to put in the classroom that gives you the instruction of what you're supposed to do. So your job is when you write the query that brings out the tables, export the tables as an Excel file. Right here, you have the export as an Excel file. When you export as an Excel file, Excel will allow you to be able to have this data in different, like first you see the page one, which is the data itself, the table itself that you exported. Then in your on the sheet, you're going to find another sheet called SQL. That is where your query will be sleeping or resting or hiding, you know. And then you can create the V's one or V's two, minimum of two visualizations. All right, minimum of two visualization. Whew. And that is it regarding to your gift one. This video will be made available while you're going into the gift one. So I will advise you watch it. I will advise you watch it. All right. If you have to watch it again and again to achieve it, please do. All right. So don't forget, this is the environment you're going to be working with. And that's all for now. If you have a question, feel free to reach out and feel free to watch the video over and over again. I wish you guys all the best. Thank you. All the best.